Hi, my name is George and I'll be breaking down Persona 5 Royal using the Elemental Tetrad developed by Jesse Schells. The Elemental Tetrad consists of 4 parts descending invisibility to the player, starting with the aesthetics, which is the sensory elements of the game and what players are most likely to see first, followed by the mechanics, which are the rules that make your game possible, the story, which is the sequence of events your game takes, and the technology, which makes your game possible to play. Persona 5 Royal is set within and around Shibuya, where you take control of a high schooler and traverse the palaces of mementos to still distorted desires of people and make them confess to their crimes. Starting with your abusive teacher to a plagiarizing artist, escalating to a mob boss and a CEO who treats their workers like slaves. I will be focusing mainly on the aesthetic choices of the 6th palace of the game, the Casino of Envy, and how the palace theme ties into the mechanics and the story. When you first see the palace, a grandiose casino greets you in the place of the courthouse the palace ruler Sainijime views it as. On entry to the casino, you start on top of the rafters above the lobby, which is dominated by the view of the glass elevator that takes you to the gambling floors, as well as a purple and red colour palette which is seen through all the guest floors, but is a lot brighter on floors higher up. When you reach the subsequent floors, one of the main aesthetic choices that will hit you in the face is the playing cards that continuously rain down your screen. Whilst this is never the focal point of the areas and isn't seen within the staff areas of the dungeon, it really ties the casino aesthetic together in the areas it's present and would certainly kill the vibe of the palace if that choice wasn't made. Another aesthetic choice I believe ties this together is the palette and design of the staff areas. Whilst the guest areas are bright and fun, the staff areas are grey and dull, where you can see pipes throughout the area transporting the cards throughout the casino, as well as the walls of the staff areas plastered with posters which all have words correlating towards winning, like victory, success, enemy and winner takes all, which ties into Sai's story that is revealed during the palace. The last part of the visual aesthetic choices I want to talk about is the choice to make the bricks towards the manager floor a big golden scale. This could have a lot of implications that it carries with it, and the one I like the most is the scale and the amount of tokens needed to enter the manager's floor could represent the guilt and fear that Sai feels towards how she has treated her job, and those things being revealed to the public. Rigging cases in her favour to win at all costs despite the actual innocence of the person she is prosecuting surely weighs heavily on her sense of justice, and this could be shown to be represented with the scale, especially as when you reach the goal she has set, she increases the goal by 10 times the original amount, possibly signifying her fear getting stronger now that you're at the finish line. The last aesthetic choice I want to talk about is the palace theme that plays for your time there. When you enter, you are greeted by the theme, Whims of Fate. The song covers different themes within gambling during the choruses and verses. The verses are about the dealers using different methods of flattery and deceit to distract you from the cheating that they're doing to rig the game against you, whilst the chorus is about giving into temptation and betting more and tells you that it is always down to the whims of fate, no matter win or lose, which contrasts with the verses of the song that tells us otherwise. This can be seen within the mechanics of the palace itself. To progress up the floors of the palace, you need to collect a certain amount of tokens to progress, but you're unable to achieve this due to the house rigging the games against you. So in return, you have to rig the games in your favour to win, which also have higher stakes as you go up. First, you need 50k tokens for the Members Pass, which is achieved by winning a dice game as well as rigging a slot machine to get the big jackpot. The next floor needs you to partake in an inescapable maze and a combat tournament where you have to participate yourselves in place of what would normally be a substitute to get 100k tokens to get to the boss, which then goes up to 1 million as the ruler changes the required amount. We can then look at the boss fight of the dungeon. It takes place on a giant roulette table where she spins it and you have to wager on HP, SP or money, but obviously it's rigged just like all the other games and you have to stop the rigging before you can win the roulette and the boss starts fighting you fairly. These then lead to Sai's story, to climb within her job as a public prosecutor and inevitably fix the corrupt political system as well as a corrupt jurisdiction system that is currently in place. She believed she was forced to become an agent of justice, which has led her to rig every case she has been involved in to win at all costs, so she can climb the ladder within her job to get to a position she can make the changes she wants to. This then ties back to the posters that you can see within the staff areas relating to winning. She has to win at all costs because if she loses, her hard work will come crumbling down. But she does lose. Sai's big case throughout the overall story is investigating who the Phantom Thieves are and bringing them to justice. But she never gets hold of a lead and is eventually taken off the case, which is a big setback in her career as finding out who you are would have catapulted her up the ladder. Looking at these aspects together makes for a great experience for the player. The more cases Sai rigs to win, the more risks and stakes are placed upon her career as there is more risk of her being exposed, which is then reflected within the palace itself with the different casino games you have to rig to win, as well as her guilt being weighed upon the golden scales against the target set by her to reach her boss fight. This then emulates Sai's career, and with the whims of fate being playing throughout your every answer to the rigged games, along with the palette changes and the reigning cards, ties the dungeon together, which forms to create a unique blend between the three aspects and enhances each one, which isn't achieved to the same heights in other palaces.